Hi, my name is Brittany Hunley. Thank you for joining me for this video. Sex and chronic illness or pain, reclaiming intimacy in a changing body. Today we're going to talk about something that doesn't get discussed enough. Sex when you live with chronic illness, chronic pain, or even a terminal diagnosis. Whether your condition is invisible, fluctuating, or life-limiting, your sexuality still matters. And you're still allowed to want connection, comfort, and pleasure. If you are a loved one of someone who struggles with their health, thank you for being here. We appreciate you being an ally and a supportive partner. Let's get into it. There's the physical and emotional impact of chronic illness on sex. There are common realities like fatigue, pain, stiffness, and mobility issues, side effects of medications, and nervous system dysregulation, all of which contribute to a reduced libido or even pain during sex. There are emotional parts of the nervous system dysregulation, like feeling shame, guilt, or body grief, feeling unsexy or too much or broken, fear of being a burden or being rejected by your loved one. As our body changes without our input, losing mobility, weight gain, weight loss, all of these things can contribute to these feelings. Requiring extra help to do life's normal activities can start to feel very unsexy if our partner is the person who's helping us do things like shower and eat. I want to reassure you, you are not a problem to be fixed. You're a whole person learning to live and love with a shifting body. When the body changes, so can sex. Let's really normalize the need to redefine what sex can look like. A broader definition just beyond seeking penetration and orgasm can really be helpful to having a healthy and happy sex life with your partner if you're struggling with chronic illness or pain. Mindful, sensual touch, fantasy, emotional intimacy, and even mutual masturbation can really help keep the sexual spark going and give you a lot of pleasure and intimacy. Making space for non-linear episodic desire. So normalizing with your partner that for many days you may not be interested in sex, but when you are, strike while the match is hot. Don't feel bad that maybe for 30 days you haven't felt the desire for sex. Today you do. Share it with your partner, celebrate, and have fun. What feels possible today is a great question to ask yourself very gently instead of, are we going to have sex or not? Checking in with yourself about what feels possible instead of putting on pressure. Navigating flare-ups, pain days, and body no days. Let's talk about how to communicate that. So my body's having a no today, but I still want closeness is a great way to communicate to your partner that I can't engage in sexual activity, but I want to be close to you. And you get to define what that looks like. It could be hugging, snuggling, kissing, sensual touch. It could even be mutual masturbation, just worth dialoguing with your partner. I'd love to cuddle with no expectations is another way to say this. I suggest creating a shared pain scale or intimacy menu with your partner, especially if you live with chronic pain. There are some days with chronic pain where sexual connection can actually help alleviate chronic pain, but the right sexual connection in terms of positions and activities. Talk about it. I love the idea of calling it an intimacy menu. Sounds delicious. Encourage your partners not to take it so personally on days where you feel like you can't have sex or engage in sex play that you would like to. Pain-aware pleasure. So positioning aids, hot and cold packs, supportive pillows, having a quickie as opposed to having a long session of sex and having more foreplay. A slower buildup can also help with certain chronic illnesses or chronic pain. It just takes a lot of dialogue, communication with your partner. This one's a heavy one. When you're terminal, let's talk about sex as comfort, as legacy, as tenderness. I want to first just acknowledge the fear and grief with getting a terminal diagnosis, of knowing that the thing that you currently have is going to be the thing that takes you away from your life and loved ones. There's a lot of fear with that and a lot lot of grief for you and for your loved ones. And yet, I want to honor the desire to still feel wanted, to still feel touch, closeness, sensuality. There's nothing to be fixed with a terminal diagnosis, but you may just want to feel human for a little while longer. Talk about sex with your partner. Talk about it with your counselor. Think of it as comforting and grounding in a changing world, a way to say goodbye or of staying connected while you're still here, and a way to have dignity and agency when so much else may have been taken away from you. I encourage my couples to openly talk about, what do you still want to experience together, sexually or otherwise? Let's talk solo pleasure and the body relationship work. So self-touch may be a challenge due to mobility or sensation loss, but there's always toys, pillows, and positioning that can alleviate this problem. Nowadays, there are specialty toys that can affix to your genitalia and be controlled, and even controlled by an app that could be on your smartphone or even your partner's smartphone. It's okay to need assistive devices. It's okay to need assistive sexual devices as well. I want to emphasize that eroticism can be a form of sacred resistance to chronic illness, choosing joy and presence in a body, even that hurts or is sick. Guided meditations, gentle and loving mirror work, and even soft fabrics and sensory exploration can be great ways to get around solo pleasure issues or hiccups. So there are some times where we need outside help with this topic. So here are some reasons to seek that. If you're avoiding all forms of intimacy out of shame or pain, you need to tell your doctor, and you probably need to tell a counselor who's trained with experience in sex therapy and chronic illness and chronic pain. If you've disconnected with your partner and it feels unbridgeable, that's a time to call in a sex therapist, couples counselor, someone who understands what you're going through. And if trauma is resurfacing due to medical procedures or body changes, definitely time to tag in a trauma-informed counselor or therapist to help navigate that with you. Bonus points, of course, if they work with chronic illness as well. All right, let's recap. Your sexuality is not erased by illness. It might look different, it might unfold differently, but it's still yours and it's still you. You are still worthy of touch, of affection, and of pleasure in the ways that feel right for you, and those might shift every day or even every hour. I invite you to be curious instead of critical when it comes to your body and your body's desire for pleasure. If you have any questions about this or you want to discuss it more, feel free to reach out.